Yeah. I've admired her for a while. So I want to welcome everybody to the SEE presentation. It's wonderful to notice how, like, in the morning, it's kind of a slow start, especially on a Monday morning. You know, less people are come to the presentations, but I can feel the school waking up. And I really appreciate you being here and this afternoon to support the presenter. I want to remind people to use technology responsibly during the presentation. If you have a cell phone with you, set it to silent so that it doesn't interrupt the presenter. I encourage you during the question and answer session to ask a lot of good questions and answers. Hopefully you're a lot of good questions. Hopefully you're starting to notice that those questions allow the presenters to show the depth of their knowledge, and they're a really important component of the presentation. I appreciate the way in which you help each other when you join in that conversation. I also want to take a moment just to appreciate this young man who I first met on the senior retreat as we were hiking through the river on the same hike that Ernesto crawled through the river and almost drowned Gigi on the river. I walked a lot with Javier, and I saved the bottom of his shoes. Okay, so he won my heart then, and I was really excited when he decided to do a presentation on the natural spaces in the city of Santo Domingo. When Mark and I were preparing to come here, we spent a lot of time on the internet looking at the park from above, being like, there will be a place where we can walk. And what we saw when we came here wasn't quite what we expected, and I think that's what Javier is going to address. So please welcome Javier.
Thank you. Parque Mirador Sur, Green Space Potential. Parque Mirador Sur is one of the most profound green areas in the country with dimensions of 8 kilometers from east to west. The beautiful Caribbean Sea can be observed from this entity, as it can be appreciated in the image above. It's the only hint of nature in a plethora of buildings, in a city that every year is more and more overcrowded. This makes the park even more valuable considering the scarce green space in our country, and the unlikelihood of having a vast patio of your own in your house or apartment. Hi, my name is Javier Del Llano, and I will be demonstrating the potential Parque Mirador Sur has. Parque Mirador Sur is not perfect. Matter of fact, it's far from perfect. It's a park in distress. Let's start with the problems. There are 4 main problems that are depriving the park from greatness. These are infrastructure, insufficient lighting, garbage disposal, and security. Let's start with infrastructure. Statues have been worn out from lack of maintenance and the recurrent natural disasters. This statue in specific was taken down for renovation and was never put back up on its pedestal. Fountains, as they can be admired around the park, are all dried up and non-functioning. This is a common sight in the park. Abandoned structures. There are various other deserted structures like the one that can be observed above. In this case, this was a project by Ingleton Company to include a computer center in the park. The plan of action was never executed to its totality, and it was not successful. The building is present as we speak and with no use. Facilities. All types of facilities are broken down and not cared for. The swings in the picture are a common issue. This applies to vast majority of the facilities in the park. Users say that kids are discouraged when they see the conditions of the recreational toys at the park. Problem number 2, the insufficient lighting. The insufficient lighting in the park creates a schedule for the citizens, dictating them from what time to time people can be in the park. This is usually until the time the sun starts to set. Third problem, garbage disposal. This is one of the main disgusts and complaints from the regulars at the park. Trash can be found roaming the park, sometimes in vast quantities. It is hard to find garbage cans in the park. It is possible you will need to walk far distances relative to the park to stumble upon one. Problem number 4, security. The constant dangers in the park are a well-known reality for all of us. Let's fix the problem. Solutions. Replace broken facilities with new ones. This includes all types of swings, slides, and so on. The rearrangement and addition of trees and grass. This means bringing experts to examine the current situation regarding the ecosystem. Parque Mirador Sur has trees distributed in an unorthodox manner. Grass grows only in patches and bushes are very common. So experts will decide which trees and grass are best fit for the park considering our tropical nature. When trees are scattered with some sort of orientation, not only will the park look physically appealing, but will also make security jobs easier. Bikes and motorcycles will be provided for as a form of transportation. Visible and working surveillance systems will be installed. These cameras will not only serve as evidence for anything going on in the park, but also as a warning for those with malevolent intentions. Radios will be a plus for better communication between authorities in the park. Many garbage cans will be added to the park. The system will work, so there is a garbage can every 50 steps. And lastly, the lighting equipment, which will not only serve for the purpose of illuminating the park, but of aiding also the security in their watch over the park. So, how are we gonna do this? Money. Let's talk about numbers. Above, you can see 2 figures. The one above is well over 3 billion pesos. This is the amount the government designated for the town hall, better known as the ayuntamiento, to construct and maintain parks, cemeteries, and public commercial establishments located in the National District. The figure below, 873,533 pesos, is the amount of money designated yearly for Parque Mirador Sur. Considering the importance and size of Parque Mirador Sur compared to other, this figure is out of proportion and insufficient. Requisite budget, 60 million pesos is the amount of money needed to implement all the changes necessary to the park. I envision these changes being done in a period of 5 years. This means we have to raise 12 million pesos annually. The structure. There are about 120 buildings around the area of El Parque Mirador. In each building, there is an average of 15 apartments, in other words, families. When you divide the 12 million needed annually by the apartments, families living in the zone, you arrive at 6,666 pesos yearly per family to reconstruct the park. That is 555 pesos per month, the equivalent of 2 pizzas and a beverage in our cafeteria. It is important to remember that there might be some cases where a well-off individual, money-wise, or people that feel identified with the project would care to make bigger donations. Management. The money would be managed by a patronage, or in Spanish, un patronato. In short terms, this is a council made up by the neighbors. It would be wise to add a politic or politician's wife or husband to the council, so they can raise awareness in the government. The council will have an elected president along with other charges. This head of council will have to show all accounts of the numbers of families that chipped in and what's the total money funded. After this, a summary of how the money was spent will be made public for all to view. So, is this really possible? Well, let's take an example from our own backyard. Parque Bosque de la Vida, located parallel to Calle Mozambique Soler, a patronage here was formed 20 years back. Each building around the zone pays 2,000 pesos monthly. They have implemented a soccer field, and most importantly, they have planted different types of trees that are native to our country and in danger of extinction. You can even pay for a tree to be planted, and a tree will be to your name with a plaque. In the park, there are people running until 11 o'clock in the night. The neighbors I have interviewed are really content with the product. In one case, the Ayuntamiento even tried to come in with some construction ideas. The Council of Neighbors declined this offer in fear they would consume the park and later leave it in misery. My vision for Parque Mirador Sur is feasible. This doesn't have to be a dream anymore. This can now be a project to be delivered by our community to our community. This park is what this country deserves, what we deserve. Thank you. You can now feel free to ask questions. Mr. Costa.
I noticed just that park neighborhood, it's got sort of like restaurants in the park and like places that operate with like high rentals and stuff like that. Do you know if they pay anything right now to the park?
They do. They have to pay to be there. They have to pay monthly. There's a restaurant which has a private lake, which is something that is kind of counterproductive. Because the lake, a man from the newspaper, when he went to photograph the lake, he was charged 2,000 pesos only for taking a picture of the lake. And this can be either way. I mean, the private businesses are giving good things to the park, bike rentals, restaurants, and other things, but it's also a thing of from who is the park. I mean, the patronage may have to put all the restaurants and everything and needed bike rentals and all those type of things provided for the public, and the money that they earn will be put back into the budget to do more things. Mr. Santos.
I'm always a little bit embarrassed to explain to people who come from outside of the country that we have the beautiful park, the park in the state that it's in, but that I advise for them to exercise in the daytime a bit to avoid being there at night. It's a little embarrassing to say, hey, it's not safe at night. So I'm just wondering, within your security plan, do you propose manning some sort of like every 200 meters will be a security person, or like what exactly would you do to make it a little safer? You did mention illumination, I saw that. Better lighting, certain things. What else would you do to have people feel safer?
The thing right now is that since there's no illumination, people take this as a refuge, and people go there in the night and they don't feel like they're being watched. So only with the redistribution of the trees, it will make it easier for the police to have a constant watch of the park. Also, the surveillance cameras will only not be there as to watch people, but they will also be for the people to know that they're being watched. And with the illumination, and more people going around, the securities and people in bikes, I think it will make an ambience much safer.
Even though the budget for the Parque Mirador is really low, as you said, not in proportion to what the government gives, do you think that people would want to give more money from what they earn, since they're already paying like a huge amount of taxes for the government to use?
You can look at this as in two ways. For example, the apartment where I live pays 72,000 pesos yearly only as taxes for the government. So this, if the government is with us, they could make this budget less and take that money for the park. But I think it is time that we stop depending on the government. And as I said, we make something for ourselves. So if we want a better park, we have to it at some cost. So yes, but as I mentioned, the cost is not that big. It will not make a difference on how you live. So I think it's worthwhile. And yes,
Your solution, as you said about the lighting of the park. Do you think that this may be a cost effect for the problem because, as we've all seen the seniors and tipping point where with the graffiti in New York drop. So do you think this would be compared to like a Mirador?
can you rephrase your question? I don't know.
What do you think should be the first step to eliminating the security risk, for example?
What's the tipping point?
What's the exactly?
I mean, I think at the moment that more people are engaged with the parks and families are going, it's gonna stop being a dangerous zone and more of a family zone. And the moment that more people are there for fresh air and having fun, I think the mentality of people will change, even from the people that mob. This isn't a place that people will do malicious things anymore, but a place for the society where only good things happen. Did I answer your question? Mr. Santos.
So a park is green, clearly, or in a perfect state, it's a green thing. Have we selected plants correctly at Parque Mirador, or is that also part of the problem?
Part of the problem is that you can see that Parque Mirador, it looks like seeds were thrown everywhere. Bushes are everywhere. There's only spots of green areas. So I think this wasn't made very deliberately. I think, as I said, the experts should be brought here to identify which are the best trees and grass and everything considering our tropical environment, so the park will be even greener. David.
Two questions, but it's kind of a follow-up to well, what inspired you to research this topic and to create a presentation?
Well, I live in front of Mirador, Parque Mirador Sur. My school is in front of, close nearby to Parque Mirador Sur. Many of the teachers here live in front of Parque Mirador Sur and my peers. So I think it's time for a change. I think this community deserves a good park.
And the follow-up is, do you plan in the near future or the far future to bring your plan to like a person who can propose it to the government, or someone who can propose it to the houses who live, like to the apartments that are in front of the park? Like, do you plan on taking this a step further and actually implementing your plan?
Yes, that would be the future plans. It would be, or for either me to take this on in the future, or to hand it to someone who has the power to make something of like a council or a patronato, like I said. Sure.
So, when you asked the question, what are we gonna do about it? And then you said, money, right? And then you showed that slide with money, okay? So, and I respect very deeply what you're saying. Your plan about funding is an interesting one and a good one. I wonder about if you're talking about creating councils though, I wonder about getting citizens to work within the park. So for example, in the park there is a path on the south side of the park.
Correct.
It's like down in the bushes. It's like this interesting and broken path that runs all the way along the new road, but then it runs through the brush.
Yeah.
It's a natural space, like many animals and birds live in there and things like that. When I first saw that path, I loved it because it reminds me of the book, The Secret Garden. Do you guys know that book? Yes. Yeah. It's like this little secret path, and I thought, oh, I want to bring a whole bunch of students out here to clean this up. Like we could get our clippers out and take care of it. And so I wonder, you're saying that to fix the problem, we only need money. But I'm wondering about people's involvement within care for the park. Can people who live in those buildings be involved in caring for, because as you said, they don't have lawns or gardens of their own. Can people be involved as labor
to work in the park, or is that a class issue that I don't understand within the cultural context?
I understand your question. I just thought that the first step was to get money, because since everybody knows that insecurities and all the problems with Parque Mirador, the first step couldn't be to clean it, because people know that's not enough. So I think the first step is getting the sufficient materials and personnel to put the Parque Mirador as it should be. And when people are putting money into something, they start to care about it. And when they start to go to it, they start to say, well, this is good, this is bad about it. So I think in general aspect, when people start putting their money in the park and going to the park, they will demand it to be clean or clean it themselves. Yes.
I hope you do bring us past here, because I love this park, it's got tremendous potential. I wonder if in your research you looked at other major cities that have interior large parks. I think of Central Park in New York, for example. And if there's any solutions they've come up with that would also apply maybe here in the
I saw an example of this in Netherlands, but they, instead of doing their own council, they asked for the government. They made a petition with hundreds of people, thousands of people signed a petition, and the government gave them the funds. It's just that I don't know how reliable our government is, and I think we should bring it into our own hands. Yes.
Going back to the security issue, I understand that there's already 3 police stations in the park, and you mentioned radios and bicycles. Would these be given to these? I mean, what's going to change? There's 3 police stations and there's no security. So how do you see this changing? Will you hire privately people to walk around and go on bicycles or whatever? What is your idea?
I think that when a change in administration comes in, also the personnel knows that their job has to be at a high quality. Right now, I saw an interview that a lady was celebrating her niece's birthday there, and the whole birthday was mugged. And when she went to the police station, and said, "Oh, I got mugged," well, the police said, "Oh, yeah," he said, "Yeah, that's the ban from 8 o'clock. Like, yeah, that's usual. What do you want me to do about it?" So I think that when a new administration comes and they see that they're putting money into the park and attention into the park, either the police will say, okay, we'll have to do our job, we have to make a better job, or new personnel would be brought in by the administration when they see that things are not changing.
Just to clear out, you're saying that right now the government or like is the one in charge of the park. Do you want it to collaborate with this new patronage, or you want the patronage to be in charge of it?
I mean, if the government would give the funds, and after that, not only give the funds, but we would see the change, that would be perfect. That would be something out of our hands. But it's been 20 years, 50 years, and we haven't seen the government fix fund like this. They tried to do a gym, it's abandoned right now. And so I think it doesn't have to be either or. I think we can do patronato and get the funds, and I don't think the government would mind civilians doing their city good job. Yes.
For a regular park user, I always go back and forth on whether it's dangerous or not. I think you always hear bad news, and we tend to build up perceptions of negativity that aren't always true. I feel like I use the park safely. But I'm well aware that I could be ignorant one. Do you come across any statistics about the prevalence of crime in the park that could be related to the city in general?
Well, since 2003 to date, there have been 4 murders inside the park. 3 of them have been found inside the park dead, and 1 of them was found outside, and they had been saw that they had killed him in the park. I think that's a pretty outrageous figure for a green park. So maybe you have used the park safely, but I don't know until what hours you have used it, and maybe I question on that.
I'll be there with my kids until after the sun is set, but it's still light.
Well, maybe you have had good luck, and that's good, but we wouldn't want to play play bets with our luck and our safety.
But you don't go there after dark, like once you get started.
No, I mean, you can quote murder statistics in the park, and
Yeah.
4 is actually small numbers. So
Yeah.
I wonder, like,
Or
it well be that the park is safe compared to other locations. But that absolutely false also. I just feel like it's hard to collect the data in a way that I can make an educated decision around it. There doesn't seem to be any data available that I don't have access to.
I mean, there are no figures. Maybe I don't know if the government has done a job to make this put this in a gray area, but you can see countless and countless interviews of people that have been mugged there. There was even a teacher here like 7 years ago that was riding his bike and he got harmed with a knife.
Thank you.
Uh,
Do you believe that insecurities inside the park promote insecurities in the whole zone, like in the whole Anacaona? Maybe people living inside the park at night promotes crime near the zone.
Definitely. To be specific, a month ago, a man that was running to be senator was killed in that area of the park. And I think that knowing that there is a lot of insecurity inside the park gives a mind to the people that the insecurity is the same outside the park. So that can be something that affects the mindset of people and makes not all the mugs inside the park, but also outside the park.